to Why Though the Podcast. Hello, Destiny Johnson.
Hello, Lizzy Acker. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Welcome to Why Though the Podcast.
Welcome to Why Though the Podcast.
We're here again. It's rainy outside. We just saw our boss and we were talking about how we're just now in the season where we're not going to stop talking about the weather.
Yeah, absolutely.
For months.
This is the time of year when everybody in the Pacific Northwest complains about the weather, and people just really get heated about umbrellas. I was thinking about that on the way to work today. People get upset about umbrellas this time of year.
Yeah, I would recommend, investing in a pair of boots if you live in this area and you're new here. That's my main advice. And also you can use an umbrella. Don't let anyone tell you different.
Yeah, and don't step on what looks like an innocuous pile of leaves.
Oh, don't.
I have 2 scars on my knees from slipping in piles of wet leaves because wet leaves are slippery.
Yeah, don't. That's a bad idea.
That's some advice.
Good
from
job.
This advice podcast.
Starting off strong with some advice.
But if you want some real advice from an actual advice giver, which is Lizzy Acker, who writes an advice column called Why Though?
That's
you
me.
can text her.
Yeah, you can text me. All you got to do is just text the word advice to 503-751-8731 and simply click the link and subscribe.
Perfect. You'll get real text messages.
Yeah,
from
real
Lizzy.
text messages. I sent one out this morning.
Yeah.
Asking for questions for the advice column. No one came through yet.
Okay.
So if you want to be a person who I text when I need help, just do what I just said.
Yeah.
Or else, you can send me your questions in any way you want. But today, actually, we're going to do something just a teeny bit different. It's not really.
Yeah.
It's sometimes something we do. I don't know when last time we did, but sometimes I write a column, do a podcast that gets a lot of responses. And we did one a couple weeks ago. Yeah. About a person who very sensitive to sound of other people in the grocery store, etc. And I got actually a lot of responses. So we're gonna read 2. Let me say this one thing. Some people like to respond to columns and they like to diagnose people. I will, if I ever share responses, I take out diagnoses. This happens every time. Everyone likes to diagnose, but I'm not ever gonna diagnose anybody because I'm not a doctor.
Right.
And I think you need a little bit more than a letter to diagnose somebody, to be quite honest. But I love to get responses, and I like to hear your thoughts on something, especially if you have solid advice. And I feel like there were some advice that good advice I hadn't necessarily considered or didn't go deep into. So yeah. And
for the record, Lizzy does these reader responses pretty often with her column. We haven't done them as often in the podcast form, but you can find them at OregonLive.com/whytho, WHYTHO, the cool spelling, where you can find all of her columns. New columns come out every Tuesday. This podcast comes out every Thursday. Do you want to read the first one? It's from somebody signed Silent Night, which I thought was funny, like K-N-I-G-H-T. It's funny.
So the other thing I will say is if you want to tell me about your diagnosis, that's fine. I'm just saying if some
Yeah. We're not doctors.
No, we're not doctors.
We're
and it just happens surprisingly a lot. So you can email me and you can tell me your feelings on that. I'm just never going to share it.
Sure. You're right. Yeah.
Not really our business.
No.
Okay. So, dear Lizzy, I know the sheer pain of other people's noises invading my space, chewing, humming, low murmurs that one can't quite hear. Think of someone holding a cell phone and only you can hear the buzz of convo from their cell phone. But irritating because I have hyperacusis and misophonia. I freaked out the audiologist when I sat in her fully soundproofed room during the hearing test and told her the people outside the room were driving me nuts discussing lunch plans, and she had no idea anyone was even there. It also makes it difficult in a crowded space because all of the noises assault you at once, making it extremely difficult to hold a single conversation. And I thought this was interesting because our writer before said that they felt violated by the sound. So I was like, this is helpful. I'm not saying they have the same condition. I'm just saying this person could possibly give some helpful advice.
Yeah.
And I think they do. So the audiologist showed this letter writer earplugs made especially for this. They filter out extraneous noise, but you can hold a regular conversation, and they do not shut off all noise, just irritating low hums and high pitches. See an audiologist for the best type suited for your hearing issue. Now people talking at movie theaters or Hummers at the grocery store no longer have power over me. And bonus, I don't need them as often. The earplugs have seemingly retrained my brain, my theory anyway. You can buy $20 ones that are as effective as the $200 ones. Without an audiologist, I would have never known about them. Silent Night.
That's so... I didn't even think to mention this, but I have a pair of those types of earplugs. They're called... not sponsored, but they could sponsor us if they wanted. They're called Loops.
I think you might have talked about it on the podcast a little bit.
Maybe
we talked about it offline. But
Loops have these different kinds of earplugs that let in different types of noises. So they have ones for like when you go to concerts that should block out like the bass. You should really protect your ears.
Right.
I'm lucky that I have pretty sharp hearing, and I have for a long time, and I grew up going to a lot of punk shows, and my hearing is still pretty good, thank God, because I did not protect my ears. Yeah. And I should have. Yeah. But they also have ones. Yeah, I am. So there's plenty of time for it to go, I guess. Yeah. But and they also have ones that let in, more noise, and ones that let in, I would say, the most noise. And I got the ones that let in the most noise, and I would wear them to the office sometimes when I worked, I would say, in a little more busy of an office.
A buzzier location.
Yeah. People could be doing live shots in the same room where you're trying to like write up a press release. And that was irritating to me, but there was nothing to be done. So
that used to be our office too. I mean, like fewer live shots, I would say, but definitely like people yelling on the phone, talking to sources. So I think that I just thought that was great. And also an audiologist. Who would have thought? What a brilliant... go see an audiologist. Why not?
Yeah. There's a doctor who can help you with that.
There's a doctor. I'm not a doctor, but there are other doctors.
Yeah, I'm not a doctor either. I just play one on TV.
And I also liked that's a very specific solution, And I like the idea of earplugs that don't block everything out, but just maybe the sounds that really grind your gears, as they say. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I like that approach, and I think it's kind of funny that we didn't think about the doctor avenue. And I think the second one, it was from Anonymous, was also helpful and smart too. It says, "Dear Lizzy, couldn't help but find a little irony in the reality that someone was being triggered by whistling, humming, and singing, because these three behaviors are also valid approaches to dealing with being triggered, as they activate the parasympathetic system by stimulating the vagus nerve." And I've heard some of this kind of stuff before. So the irony is the bothered person might have more in common with these people than she realizes. In other words, it's highly likely that they've developed these habits as coping mechanisms to manage their own discomfort. Maybe she wants to develop routines around going into the grocery store to minimize exposure. For example, this person tends to shop close to the same time every week. They've never heard someone hum or whistle. Maybe they can find their own zone, because it's true, she can't really control other people.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting because we kind of touched on that, and I think the letter writer also kind of touched on that. Like she was like, I have dealt with my own stimming. Why can't they? And I was like, well, maybe it's a way to approach this is to consider that makes you similar, you actually have a lot in common with these people, and it won't change the noise, but it can change your emotional reaction to it. Instead of treating it as an assault from a person opposed to you, think of it as something annoying that someone who has something similar to you is doing to deal with something. I don't know. Sometimes adding a little bit of sympathy to your reaction does help.
I think
it helps.
It helps a lot. Yeah.
If I can see someone as not a villain and try to understand their motivation, I think it helps.
It definitely. It certainly helps me. I can be quick to irritation, and I think it's the only thing that helps me from, I would say, having a disproportionate reaction, which is what I would possibly call the reaction that person might be having to somebody whistling.
Yeah, so maybe we can all work on treating people with kindness.
Yeah. I like these reader responses. One, because it means people are reading the hard work that I know that you're doing, but two, because I like to see people's perspectives. I like to see everything from, I particularly liked the one about when we talked about, can I pick my neighbor's fruit?
Yeah, totally.
Those reactions
are
really
always good reactions.
I just like to see what people are thinking about what we talk about, because we talk about it here. It's just the two of us, in this room chit-chatting,
Mm-hmm.
and then to hear other people's takes on it. I don't know, just it feels fun, like gossiping with people.
I love it. I love it
Yeah.
when people send me their responses. It makes me feel like, wow, people are actually engaging with the things that I say. And, you know, unlike some of the stuff that I do in terms of writing for the newspaper, almost always the responses to Why Though are thoughtful. Even if I disagree with them, I don't feel like people are being mean to me,
Right.
which is not always the case.
Uh-huh.
Though I haven't had a huge people being mean to me thing in a while, but you know, I really appreciate the readers and the listeners of Why Though. So please keep sending us your questions and your responses. And if you want to text me, you can text the word advice to 503-751-8731 and then click the link and subscribe.
Yeah,
and I will text you.
And you can find our contact information in the description below as ever. Other ways to get a hold of us, social media, all that kind of stuff.
We are epically findable.
Yeah, that's very true. And I liked the reader response portion of this, but hey, let's talk a little bit about ourselves. How about a little smash or pass?
Yes. Okay. We're doing some smash or pass.
Yeah.
This is one of our new segments, guys.
Yeah,
so
we're testing it out and we haven't gotten any feedback. So no feedback to me means that it's going great and you all are enjoying it. So we're just going to keep doing it.
So we are. And you feel free also to like text me things you want to smash or pass.
Yeah, would love that.
And we could maybe read a couple of those someday if we get some.
Yeah.
Text them,
yeah,
email them, whatever.
Send us a list of things. You know what? I would love a list of like fall things and maybe controversial fall things like candy corn and pumpkin spice and stuff.
Yeah, I'm not a candy corn.
I would love to. Yeah,
no,
I
thank
feel
you.
ambivalent about candy corn. Like I maybe want one piece and then that's it.
I want 0 pieces, and I want them
like
out of my
eggnog.
sight.
How do people feel about eggnog? Like there's
yeah.
lots of controversial.
Like
there's like a lot of controversial festive
we
stuff.
have lots of festive stuff that we should discuss.
Yeah.
I guess.
But
okay, Destiny, what are you smashing?
Ooh, well. I ordered a new Kindle.
Ooh, interesting. I have never been an e-reader person at all.
Okay,
so sell me on it because I like a book.
I was really resistant to it because I love a book.
Yeah,
I love how a book smells. I love how a book feels. I love going into a bookstore. Have you heard about the Barnes & Noble pooping effect?
No, I have not actually.
This is a side note, but there's something. Allegedly, you can Google this in your own time, but if you really need to use the restroom, if you go into a Barnes & Noble, that there's something about the adhesive in the books
that makes you need to poop.
Yes, the smell of it.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know if it's like
never heard of that.
Don't know if it's psychosomatic or what, but it's like this anecdotal phenomenon.
Okay. Well,
not
I love that
for me personally, but it's all over the internet. It was like a phenomenon across TikTok for a while. I think it's very funny. Anyways, so as much as I love a bookstore, and I still do buy books, so it hasn't stopped me from buying books, I would say, but I have like 3 bookshelves in my room. It's getting, to the point.
I understand. I am a person who has a book problem. So.
Yeah, and every time I move, you move one time across the country with all your books, and it makes you want to die a little bit.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't even move with all my books. But anyway, it's really nice. It's really nice because it's so light. I'm also a person who's reading sometimes more than one book at once. Okay. And you just bring it all with you. The battery never dies. As I'm getting older.
Batteries don't die in books, but just. I know what you mean, because they die in your phone.
But what I was going to say was, as I'm getting older, my eyes are getting worse.
Okay.
I need a significant amount of light for reading now.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm a low light person.
Yeah.
I don't like the overhead light. I call it the big light. Turn the big light off. I don't like the big light on in my house. I don't turn the big light on in my house. And so to have something that's backlit, but softly and with a warm light is like, to me, paramount. Okay. During my reading experience. Okay. Otherwise, I have to read with a really bright reading light, like attached to the book.
How does a Kindle do in like heat and cold?
Haven't had a problem.
Okay, because this is real. They're a niche issue, but I have a sauna at my house. We have to say sauna in my family.
Sauna.
That's how the Finnish say it. And one thing about a paper book is you can take it in the sauna.
I would never take my paper book in the sauna.
Really? Would you take a Kindle?
Yeah.
But not a paper book. Why not?
Feels mean.
To the book.
Uh-huh.
I'm thinking of a paperback that you're not like super invested in. Like you're not like, this is my favorite copy of this book. Like this is a like
They're
I
all
love
my
a
favorite
paperback.
copy of my book. Yeah.
See,
Okay,
I treat
so
paperbacks like
I do dog ear, which is I
Yeah, I
know
do that.
controversial,
I
but
do that.
yes, I would take it into the sauna. I think it would be okay. Yeah, they're water resistant, not
so you
waterproof.
okay, so you don't want to drop it in the pool. Same,
Yes,
you don't want to drop your book in the pool.
Yeah, right. Yes. So, absolutely. I think you could take it into the sauna. They're water resistant, not waterproof. And I think it's great. You can make the font huge, which is great for my old lady eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And it tells you how far you are into the book percentage wise, how long you have left in the chapter based off your own reading speed.
Interesting.
You can look words up, which I love to do if I come across a word I've never seen before. I love to look a word up.
So fun.
Because I'm that kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
So I've really enjoyed the Kindle experience. I thought that I was going to be, like I like to listen to records and I like to read my books and drink tea and be that annoying person by myself where it's not impacting anybody. So it's none of your business. Let me be
As
annoying
I drink
by
my
myself.
tea, I'm like, it's not annoying. Destiny.
Like, just let me live, So, but,
Okay.
I bought a fancy Kindle. It's a paper, whatever one. It's the new fancy one that came out, and you can buy it where it plays ads. So like you can get it a little bit cheaper and it'll play ads on the front. It just always cycles through ads of other new books that have come out. Sometimes though the ads are like half naked men on books. Which doesn't have anything to do with the types of books that I'm reading. Sure. It would be fine if it were. Yeah. But that's like a little much. It's a little bit of a lot when you like open up your Kindle and maybe you're on the airplane or you're at your mom's house and she's like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "I literally don't know."
Just a bit of softcore porn for the.
So right, so it's like Fabio-ish. So I spent the extra $20 for the no ads, which I've never had before. And I'm getting this new Kindle because something you should know about me: I can lose anything. Okay. Lost a whole Kindle.
You did?
Mm-hmm. Oh, don't know where it went.
I am notable for also being able to lose things. I once lost the case to my AirPods. That was a rough one. Why? How? I remember in high school losing a brand new North Face fleece. Never seen again.
Yeah, I
actually just last week lost my favorite hair clip. You might recognize it if you see it because I wear it all the time and now it's gone.
Sorry.
And the store that I bought it from
stuff like
is
that
gone
happens
too.
to me, and I don't know why. I'm not like irresponsible or anything. So my friend sent me her old Kindle, which was so sweet. Shout out to Annie. And it just doesn't hold a charge very well. Yeah. So I've been using it for a while, and the non-charging issue is starting to drive me a little crazy. So I got some Amazon money for my birthday, and I was like,
is it already here? Have you already tried out the new Kindle?
Nope, it will be here in 2 days.
Okay, well, I can't wait to hear.
Thank you so much.
Full review.
That's my absolute smash, and I'm so excited.
I love it. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
My smash is.
I'm so excited.
I've been listening to this album, Javelin, Sufjan Stevens' new album.
Oh, Sufjan Stevens. I love
you like
Sufjan? Yeah, absolutely.
Well, the album is great. I love him. Love.
It's dedicated to his late partner, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh my God.
So
he already makes me cry so much.
He came out by dedicating this album to his partner who died.
I have cried so much to Sufjan Stevens. You don't even like.
No, I know.
Yeah.
He is meant to be cried to.
Yeah.
I mean, his last album was about the death of his mom. Yeah. And this, I don't know if it's about I don't think it's about the death of his partner, but dedicated to him. Yeah. Anyway, also like, I just love Sufjan, and his music is great, and also how tragic that in the year 2023, up until now, he didn't feel like he could be open about his sexuality. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the whole story is there, but I do know that there's still a lot of people who feel that way. And I think he's close to my age. And I think this might be like a bit of a age difference between you and me. I think there are people my age. I'm 41. He's around there. Who still feel like unsafe fully, or in some way unsafe fully being who they are, and that's sad to me. And his sadness has made some great music, so I think you should listen to that album. Smash. There's a song, Will Anybody Ever Love Me? I love it. I mean, oh gosh,
I haven't listened to it yet because Sufjan Stevens makes me cry a lot.
Yeah.
So
be ready for that.
The soundtrack to Call Me by Your Name, which was done a lot by him, is
so good.
destroys me regularly.
Yeah.
I listen to it a lot when I read because it's like a good background. But it's if I'm really listening to it, it's a lot.
Yeah.
What's your pass?
What's my pass? What's your pass? I just did my smash.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. My pass is well, it's a smash then a pass kind of for cheating. I got my flu and COVID vaccines.
How'd that go?
Great. Go get them at your earliest convenience, people listening to this podcast. But also, my pass is going to be the side effects if you have an autoimmune disorder from that, because I do have a few autoimmune issues. And so, unfortunately, that doesn't mean that it's not worth getting them. It absolutely is. In fact, it's more paramount that I do. However, it just messes with all of my autoimmune problems. So my blood sugar was just a little low, which makes me feel a little sleepy. And then it messed with I have rosacea. Oh no. Pretty bad on one side of my face. And then also it can be in your eye. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Great. It's called ocular rosacea. It's super fun. So my rosacea started acting up. So just kind of mess with my body, and I was just kind of down and out for the weekend.
I've got mine scheduled for tomorrow, actually. So
very good. Well, hopefully, really, I just slept, so it wasn't like anything too terrible. I felt maybe a little fevery, but honestly, I just napped it away. So I'm feeling better today. Yeah, but maybe it's just a pass on autoimmune diseases.
Yeah, pass on autoimmune diseases. It's hard.
Do get your vaccine.
Yeah, so. I feel like I'm trying to think of. Oh, you know what? I have a very specific pass. Yesterday, I went to the Taylor Swift movie. That's not my pass. But my family was being kind of annoying, so I left a little bit early. Had a few moments to myself, and I thought, I'm gonna get a mint milkshake from Burgerville. Drove to Burgerville. They don't have mint milkshakes right now. Okay, fine.
Rude.
I should have just aborted the mission because I knew I wasn't going to get what I wanted. Instead, I got an ice cream sundae from Burgerville. I should have gotten an ice cream sundae from McDonald's. I know what that is. I love the hot fudge and the peanuts. Sure. Perfect. It wasn't good. Burgerville, I love you, Burgerville, but why was your sundae... The chocolate sauce wasn't hot. It was just a bit. It was like, oh, this is Hershey's syrup.
Oh,
wah, wah. Not a peanut to be found. I
think you deserve a redo today.
I do feel like I deserve a redo. Yeah. That was a disappointing sundae.
I'm so sorry.
And when you have a sundae, like I don't eat ice cream all the time. I love ice cream. I just want it to be good. So if
you're gonna eat it,
hadn't happened.
It should be honestly. Good. Absolutely.
Like I was gonna say pass on war, which I also always feel I'm like I think like specifically that ice cream sundae was.
I'm a caramel sundae from McDonald's gal.
I love.
I also like the chocolate
McDonald's,
too. Though, don't get me wrong.
Like sundae and like.
It's the treat my grandpa always brings when I see him. So it reminds me of my grandpa.
I mean, it was like I wasn't gonna get the milkshake I wanted. I should have. I just wasn't quick enough on my feet.
It's all right.
It's okay.
Well. Maybe you can have a makeup Sunday. You deserve it.
Do we have enough time to do another one?
I think we do.
Okay.
Yeah. We took that little impromptu break when I had to check something for work. We have what I think is maybe, given my background, some unhinged advice from Dear Abby. Dear Abby. We're just gonna lay it out.
Okay,
and
lay it
we
out.
Can talk
lay
about
it out.
And then we can talk about it. Okay. So on OregonLive.com, while you're not perusing OregonLive.com/why though, if you're perusing any of our other wonderful advice or news, we have a lot of advice columns, and one of them is Dear Abby. And so this one is, Dear Abby, I suspect my fiance's niece is actually his child. Ooh. How do I get him to come clean? Okay. So here's the question. Dear Abby, my fiance and I have been together for 9 years. During that time, we've had our ups and downs. 8 years ago, after a year of dating, we decided to move in together. The following year, we got into a big argument because his ex-girlfriend was sticking her nose into our household. She was also dating his brother. Messy.
Yeah, it seems good.
He moved out that night, but we were able to repair our relationship and decided to live separately for a while. A month and a half after he moved, I found out she was pregnant. Her due date was 9 months from when he moved out. He swears it's not his child and that it's his brother's. I have tried to let it go because I can't accuse him of lying just because of the timing of her pregnancy. We were engaged once before and I called it off because of this. He proposed to me again 2 years ago and our wedding date is set for next year. I don't want to call it off again, although this is still bothering me. He knows I was hurt by an ex-boyfriend who cheated on me in the past, and I think he knows if I find out the truth, I will leave him. He treats this child like she's his own, not a niece. He picks her up and takes her out for dinner, into the park, and other stuff he doesn't do for his other nieces and nephews. Should I let it go or trust my gut? Signed, Secret or Not in New York. Abby replies, Dear Secret, tell your fiance you want him to consent to giving a sample of his DNA as well as his favored nieces to be tested. His reaction will speak volumes. If he agrees, you will finally have the answers you are looking for. Do not go ahead with the wedding until you have that information. That's it.
I mean, I feel like this question deserves a few more sentences.
Shocked that was the response.
Get a DNA test. That's her response. That's fine.
I don't feel like it is.
No, I don't think it is either. I mean, I have a lot of questions. I feel like that's
ignoring the reality completely of this
Honestly,
situation.
It doesn't matter who the father of this child is. If you've been with this person, this has happened 8 years ago. So you've like literally had this problem with your partner for 8 years in your up and down relationship. What does Dan Savage say? Dump the person.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he says it in a sweary way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think you should get married to this man, and I don't think you should traumatize a child.
No, and okay, so I was telling Lizzy this offline.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like people are going to start asking questions about my upbringing.
I love it.
That's valid.
Mm-hmm.
I was DNA tested as a child. Not because there was a question of my paternity. I will not have questions put upon my mother's name.
Yeah.
But because some of my family was shady.
Mm-hmm.
And wanted a paternity test.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, I think, 5 at the time. And this kid will be 7-ish if we factor in 9 months worth of pregnancy, right? So 7, 8-ish.
Mm-hmm.
My mom said at the time, even though I was only 5, I knew that something was awry.
Yeah.
She said I kept asking her why we were at this weird place because we had to go to like a children's hospital.
Mm-hmm.
She said that I knew that something was weird. I knew that my dad at the time was being weird. I didn't know why, and obviously that's like a big weird secret for your parents to keep.
Yeah.
And so
and
like,
how do you say that to a kid? Well, we don't actually think your dad is the person. Like, some people don't think your dad is your dad.
Yeah. And so like you're
ridiculous.
Lying to the kid. The kid's actual parents may not consent to this because if this is true or a secret that this other part of the family is keeping,
right,
they may not want to know the truth, or like there's just like a whole
really
other side of the family, right, that is involved in this. It's just insane.
Also,
and
there's
like
a real
the kid
life
is
human
old
child.
enough, right, to understand that this is weird.
Yeah,
this is weird that
my uncle's girlfriend wants me to have a DNA test. I mean, I just think that a relationship based on this foundation will not last. Is not healthy. It literally does not matter. Maybe it is. Let's say it is his kid. Okay, so you're justified. You should break up with the person. What if it isn't? That doesn't mean he didn't have sex with the person. Not every time you have sex with someone, you have a child. That's not how it works. So,
and if it's not, do you think y'all are coming back from that?
No, that's the thing. It's like you already are too far gone down this path. You either have to forgive him and move on, or else leave. And I think leave is is your life. You do what you want, but you cannot force someone to get their kid a DNA test, and nor should you, I don't think. I think the issue is your trust with him is broken.
Yeah, listen, I don't trust any man who comes at me with the my ex is crazy energy.
Oh yeah.
I always think that everybody has the potential to be crazy, right? I think circumstances can push us into crazy things, right? We can let things get too far and then suddenly we're like at our crazy capacity.
Yeah.
This situation has pushed you to your crazy capacity.
Yeah, it's too
because
far.
the type of stuff that you're talking about is crazy.
Yeah.
Like trying to get a kid that has nothing to do with you to submit to a DNA test to prove what?
Right.
To prove the trust in your partner that has nothing to do with that kid.
Right.
Or that other part of the family.
Like you don't trust him.
Yes.
And there is like something.
You're willing to implode a family
Yeah.
as a trust test for somebody who then's not even going to want to marry you after.
Right. And also like, I mean, you shouldn't have to fight this hard to trust somebody. Oh my God. Like if you don't trust somebody, you don't. Like there are things that have to be taken on faith, honestly. And in relationships, you have to trust people because you're never going to be able to test every single thing. There is not a test for all sorts of things, you know? And like I'm saying, like two people can have sex and not have a baby. So like a DNA test does not prove that they never had sex. Right. It just doesn't. I mean, I'm not saying they did at all. I'm just saying like you will still have that doubt in your mind. There's just no test that can be done that will solve this problem.
I'm also just going to throw it out there that you like called off this proposal once already.
Yeah.
What changed in that amount of time?
Yeah. I mean, I honestly feel like when somebody has been engaged to somebody for this long, it's always a bit like either get married or don't. I don't think you need to get married. But like this like back and forth kind of thing in this long term of a relationship, this person's not going to change. This DNA test is truly not going to change anything in your relationship. Except if you find out it is his kid, I guess then it'll definitely you'll be sure. But I don't think a result that you want will make you sure either way. I think like I don't know how old this person is, this letter writer, but I want people to know that it is possible to be in a relationship that doesn't make you feel crazy. Yes. It is possible to be in a relationship with a person you trust who you don't need to be testing all the time. And if that seems impossible to you, like you should probably get some counseling. Everyone should probably get some counseling anyway. But like there are people in the world who are trustworthy.
Yeah, I guess that's ultimately what I was getting at is like this has pushed you, I think, to your limit, whether you see that or not. It doesn't have to be like this.
It doesn't have to be like this. And like honestly, you can be in a relationship with someone you trust and they can totally destroy you and break your heart. Like that's part of the deal of being in a relationship. Yeah. So you need to find someone that you can trust at least enough to get to a point of, calming down. Yeah. This doesn't seem healthy for you. Doesn't seem good for your blood pressure.
And dear Abby,
come on.
As a child who was
DNA tested,
paternity tested, I have to say this maybe isn't the move.
Right. Like let's think about it for a couple more minutes.
Yeah.
I don't want to disparage my fellow column writer.
I don't want to tell you how to do your job. I would love to know how much
she gets paid.
That's literally what I said. But also, I don't want to tell you how to do your job, but what is it? Not everyone is a home run.
No.
Sport.
No. I mean, when you're doing this many columns, I true also sometimes don't hit home runs or sport ball game things, but I think we could go deeper. Abs.
I do too.
If you want to, you can go to OregonLive.com/why though, where all my columns are. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I'm far from perfect. However,
but that's the point.
I will answer more than two sentences. So
true. And new columns come out every Tuesday, and new episodes of this podcast come out every Thursday.
Yeah. So you can be getting Why Though content all the time. Also, I can text you every day if you want. So just text the word advice to 503-751-8731 and click and subscribe. It's funny. Every time I look at this, I'm reading that. Spoiler, a little behind the scenes. I'm reading that from my computer because I don't have that phone number memorized and my eyesight is very bad. So every time it's a bit like an eye exam. I'm like, is that a 3 or an 8? Is that it? So I think I got that number right.
Well, I'm proud of you for passing.
Thank you.
if you would like some behind the scenes, this is also on YouTube.
Yeah.
You can watch us.
You can see me looking down and be
yeah,
like, what?
you can, and see how cute Lizzy got a haircut.
Oh, I did get a haircut. It's
It
quite
looks really
short.
cute.
And Destiny's wearing another ghost sweater, a different
I
one.
am.
Love
a Spooky
it.
Ghost sweater for Spooky Ghost time.
Mhm.
And you can watch us give advice as well as listen to us give
Yeah.
advice every week on the Oregonians YouTube channel, if
we
you would
come
like.
here to talk, and it's fun.
We should do. I had a great time. Thank you so
Me
much
too.
for
Thank
advising this
you.
week.
Thank you for sharing in the advising with me.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And thank you for listening.
Yep.
We appreciate you, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Why Though the podcast. Listen to other episodes and read my column at OregonLive.com/whythough. You can support us by leaving a 5-star review or heading over to OregonLive.com/pod support.